Hi everyone, welcome back. Today, I've got kind of a bad back, and I have to do heavy lifting. I just realized what hat I'm wearing. This hat's almost 20 years old, and I didn't realize that because my birthday was yesterday, and I just turned 43. Good grief. Anyway, thank you all so much for watching. I greatly appreciate it. Please consider subscribing if you haven't yet already. And if you know anybody who may like this sort of thing, please send them my way. It really does help with the algorithms, especially when it comes to ad revenue. Because Google, a multi-billion-dollar conglomerate who owns YouTube, uses my intellectual property and my likenesses to sell you ads, and I would like a little bit of a cut on that if they're going to be taking my stuff to do that. So that would be great. Anyway, if you know anybody, like I said, please send them my way. If you want to help the channel even further than just subscribing and watching, you can go over to GleasonBrosRacing.com. We have race team shirts, we have hats, we have stickers, we have koozies, we have tumblers, we have all sorts of stuff. So please feel free to go over there and check that out real quick. That helps the channel out directly. So as I said off the top, my back's killing me. I just turned 43 yesterday. That hurts. I think it's just doing that made me hurt. Anyway, I don't know what's going on, but I'm sure it'll go away soon. I think I just tweaked a muscle in my back. It doesn't feel like it's anything bone related, so it should be fine. Just suck down ibuprofens by the handful. Get back to work. But we've got a bunch of heavy lifting that we should do. And I think there's a lot that I really don't want to do, but I have to in order to get better. Let me explain. Now, when it comes to racing these cars, I've been involved in them for nearly it's been 27 years. We started in 1999 racing specifically this kind of car. And I'll be honest with you, they've evolved a whole heck of a lot over the years, especially over 27 of them. When we started, they were stock frame cars. They had stock floorboards. Hell, we were barely able to even move the battery. We had to cut a hole out of the firewall. Yeah, that's what it's called. And sink the battery into the firewall. We couldn't even move it off the right front out of a stock location. We had to leave it there. We barely had a motor in it. I mean, I think my brother's first car was like $1,400 or $1,700 as a driver. So we've been in it a while. And while the core rules haven't really changed a heck of a lot, they've evolved. Now, if you took this car and showed those people back 27 years ago what it was, they would have it banned so fast that your head would spin. This is a full tube chassis car. It is low to the ground. It has aftermarket uppers. You can use aftermarket lowers. Shoot, the only stock thing on this car is the rear axle. Not even the trailing arms. Even the steering box has been rebuilt. I mean, there's barely anything that would be considered stock on this car. Now, I've run these myself for at least 10 years. And in those 10 years, I've run a myriad of different racetracks. And I've never really had perfect new parts until, gosh, right now. I've just came to that realization like 2 days ago. And I've been so down about our last finish, even though we finished 6th. But the whole season, even the first 5 races that we've been this far at Stafford, I'm kind of embarrassed at our finishes and our runs. I mean, we should be way better than this. And I'm questioning, is it the car? Is it me? Is it both? And the answer to that is starting to come down to me. And I don't know if I really have what it takes. And I know I kind of thought that last year, but I mean, you win 2 races and you start believing again. But I also came to another realization, and it's that I think I've never really gotten out of the habit of driving with used stuff. Now, the rear axle that we took out of this car, or no, I should say MLZ Fab took out of this car to fix it, was very old. It was bent, it was used, it was probably used up a long time ago, but I kept using it. And I think that's a real indicator of how my career has gone so far. I use a bunch of used stuff that I think is fine, and it ends up not being fine because I just don't know enough to measure it properly, or even really have the resources or the knowledge to measure it appropriately. And we end up using old stuff that kind of bites us, and I learn how to adjust around the old stuff, right? And me adjusting around the old stuff, I've gotten into certain habits on how to set up and fix handling on a race car that's actually kind of wrong. So even after 27 years of working on these cars, I feel like I still know nothing. So every time we go to the racetrack now, I'm questioning whether or not I know what I'm doing, or if I'm just trying to band-aid something that's broken and I don't realize it. That's a hard pill to swallow, but I think we're starting to finally come to that realization. So what I'm going to do is just kind of go back to where we were. When the car came back from Zach's at MLZ Fab, we had a setup in it. He gave me the sheet. And we tried it at the track, and I started kind of inserting a couple of those adjustments from when, last year when I was using used parts across the back. And it just, I don't know, it just felt like it started working again. So this past race, I went back not too far. It's still the same basic setup. And I inserted the old setup from when we had the old axle in the car, because a lot of the adjustments that I had made the car feel better. So I tried full hog with the setup, and it did not work. So I said, okay, well, I guess I was wrong, because I'm just kind of still trying to figure out if it was the car, the parts I was using, me, whatever the case may be. But, I'm just going to start from square one where he had it, and we're just going to try again. Then I got to blow the entire front end back apart, put it back to where it was, leave it alone for a minute. I think I'm going to have to try to relearn how to drive the car a different way, because it seemed okay. It seemed like it did the things that I needed it to do. It was just a little tight. And if I relearn how to drive it, maybe it'll be fine. And I also have to do the power steering reservoir, and I've got to inspect a lot of stuff. It's just the regular maintenance schedule after that. But all right, enough talking. I got to get to work. It's 40 freaking degrees out, and it's May 31st. You know what? I don't really mind, I guess. It's better than being 95 degrees and dying hot. I'd rather throw a sweatshirt on. I can always throw a heater on until it warms up, but all right, I got to get to work. It is a couple days later. I actually just got finished with golfing 18 holes. It's a lovely day out, and since I'm now past middle age, I might as well get used to it, because when I'm done with racing, that's probably going to be my hobby. So either way, we're back in the shop, and I think I'm just going to put it back to where it was. So we'll just leave it alone, and we'll just work on it the way it was when Zach had it. I'm going to go rip the paper out here, go reset pretty much all of the frame heights back to where he had it, all the numbers back to where he had it. Just, I got to get a few things out of my head and just kind of start learning in different direction. And I think that if I start learning in that direction other than the direction I was already in, I think that's probably going to be the way we move forward. And I know it's a lot more traditional than what I was used to, because I was used to band-aiding setups together because I was using used equipment and bent stuff for so long I didn't know it. So I'm going to both patch this thing back together, get it back on scales, and start from scratch again. By the way, I've mentioned this in replies to comments numerous times, but apparently nobody listens to me. This is not fixed here. This is just something that I put in so that the car will jack up faster on the left front. I honestly don't believe you guys think I'm that stupid to leave a bind in the left front. This comes out. All right, we are making progress here. I had to take and adjust not only the right front, but the left front as well. You saw me do that one. Heights are really close, really close to what we wanted. I wanted to go a little bit less on cross weight alone, and that's it. That's the only real change I wanted to deviate from when we had the car at Zach's. I took like 1% of cross out of it because the car felt tight. That's pretty much it. That's all I did. And we're going to just try that instead of all the other stupid stuff that I was doing. So everything's on, everything's tight, everything's hooked up, so we should be good there. However, I did have a little bit of left side weight issue. I noticed that I was like 0.4% low on left side weight, and I just kind of left it because I was like, it's close enough. So I decided to take like a very small piece of lead out of the right side and get it as close as I could. And it's really close, so I think I'm just going to leave it. Maybe if we have a little bit less weight than normal, we'll add fuel because we're only at like half a tank of fuel. I could always fill it right up if I wanted to, if I'm really concerned. But for weight and stuff, I think we're good. Today's only Tuesday. We don't really have a lot of, stuff to do, so I'm probably just going to pop this thing apart, start greasing stuff. Oh, I got to change that power steering reservoir. So for the first time in my life, I can remember at least, I used a surrogate me. And it consisted of every single spare piece of lead that I had hanging around. Now, lead is expensive and I like to hang on to it. So if anybody gives me it, I keep it. And I don't get rid of lead. I will hang on to that stuff. It's like transmissions. I will hang on to that. And I will melt it down into like bricks, or at least steel encased bricks. Old frame material like 2x3s and stuff, and make it different sizes so I can have different quantities of lead. And I put it in the seat, and the reason I did that was I wanted to be able to measure the ride heights, and we got really close with the lead. I think I was like 5 pounds off of my actual weight. It was really close. But to put all that in there, yeah, we were a little off on cross weight and stuff, but we were really close on left side weight. And we were really close on everything else. So 5 pounds isn't going to make a huge difference when it comes to measuring ride heights. That was what I needed. I cannot really measure ride heights unless I have a second person, unless I do this. So I did that, and we should be good to go. Now, we are pretty close on left side weight, and I have to do this. I have to change out my power steering reservoir, because apparently that's the leak. And the issue, I thought it was brakes. I thought I had a bad fitting. No. It's the cap on my old one, right there, that guy. I put a new cap on that last year. Apparently it already went bad. So I'm going to get rid of that sheet metal, TIG welded or whatever piece of crap, and get this nice billet aluminum one on here. And I bet you any money, this thing weighs like 10 times as much as that thing. I'm going to go have to hang another 9-pound piece of lead over on the right rear to counteract it because I'll be so close on left side weight. But that's okay. It's only Tuesday. We're going to get that swapped out, and we'll get it back on scales at some point and just finalize this.
So I bought kits for AN fittings and lines and hoses and stuff, and I made all my own hoses, and they seem to come out really well. Except now, since I've got fittings that are in the bottom of that canister, this one's in the side, that's a straight fitting. I need to take that fitting out and replace it with a 90. So I'm not going to take the end off, but what I will do is I'll take that end off and replace it with this one. But you know what? I'm looking at it and I'm like, uh-oh, this might be the wrong kind. I don't know. It might be something else. So I'm going to have to go look again, because this one looks like it's for PTFE line, and this one looks like it's for, I don't know, regular one. All right, I'm going to have to go look for fittings and see if I have them. If not, I'm just going to have to move it closer and run it straight up into it or something. Killed two birds with one stone here. I got that new power steering pump mounted up. I didn't even change the fittings. I just kind of moved it a little bit. I didn't like moving it because it was going to get a little closer to the headers, but I mean, I put a little bit of heat wrap around it. Hopefully that'll help a little bit. It's not going to do everything, but it'll help, hopefully. But either way, I also tuned on the carburetor. I played with the idle mixture just a hair to make it run a little bit better. I think it's probably better. I don't know yet. I did make a float adjustment at the track, and that seemed to help a lot of the issue last week, so I'm going to leave that alone, and it's not leaking, so I don't care. This thing, you know what I should do? There's a little bit of a weepy dribble there. I should probably make sure that that's completely clean, and just keep an eye out for any other leaks. We got to bleed the brakes still and finalize the setup. I was a little bit concerned with my left side weight number, so I stuck a 6.5 pound brick over on the left, or the right side, I should say. That should be just enough to make sure that we don't go over and have an issue. Car was a little overweight anyway. I took 13 pounds out of it, and I know that the minimum that they give us is a set number, and we were about 30. They say the minimum's 3,000, but they give you a limit underneath that for fuel burn off. I think it's like 25 pounds or something like that. We were like 30, 35. So it's like we're a little high, so I can pull a little bit out. And I did, and we were close on left side weight, so I put 6 pounds back. I think we'll be okay. I just don't want to be close. You know, that left side weight's one of those things that I get really, really worried about. I mean, I like to be close, but I don't like any chances. I mean, you go out there and you put more heat in the right side tires than the left side tires, and that could pump them up a little bit more, and you could shift your, ride height a little bit, and you never know, you could go over. So I do not like to tempt fate. That's why I do that. Anyway, I think I'm going to get out of here for today. I have a little bit to do in the house, and got my league night tonight as well. So I'm going to go deal with that, and we'll be back out here tomorrow, probably to do a little bit of maintenance, maybe some greasing, probably bleed brakes, something like that. Whatever we have to do to make sure that this thing makes it to the end of races, because that's pretty much the only thing that matters to me. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Okay, it's the next day. It's a sunny and 85-degree day out today, so I figured it's another good time to at least test the roof. Checked my thermometer. It says 81 degrees in here, which honestly isn't so bad. So let's pull this out. This says, I don't know, this says the car is like 85 degrees. Maybe I'll get a new one of these. Maybe it's not calibrated properly or something. I should get another one anyway. I don't know, but whatever. Let's take a look at the roof. 90 something degrees. So it is less than it used to be. I mean, when it was 95 degrees and sunny all day, it was like 120 in the roof. Yeah, I mean, a couple more layers of foam would probably help, but I'm definitely not going to use the same stuff as I did before. Enough of that stuff. You guys already know that I did that from videos before. So we'll just move on, and maybe I'll revisit that in the future, but I got some parts. I can at least now finish the spare rear end, because I got new spider gears sitting from right here. I got a few more coming from eBay, actually, and I bought a new mirror. And this is actually a nice one, because what I told you guys before, probably a year or so ago, maybe even longer, was what I use for a mirror is I use a UTV mirror. You know those side-by-sides, those off-road vehicles? Like, it's a four-wheeler, but it has seats and a roll cage? Those. So I use mirrors off of Amazon or wherever for those because they're affordable and they actually do work. My only issue is one that I didn't really expect. See, with a little bit higher quality mirror, such as this one, you get a better optical quality, and when you don't have a radio in your car like I don't, I have to listen to a scanner. I don't have spotters, I don't have anything. I need to know where people are around me at all times. So, I'm very cognizant of that, but having a higher quality mirror gives me better depth of sight. I can actually judge distance a little bit better. I use those UTV mirrors. They work fine. They work great, especially for the price, but leave them on your UTV. You know, they're cheaper. I mean, these mirrors are like $100 with the mounts. UTV mirrors are like 20. But my problem is using the UTV mirror, especially the quality, is the fact that I can't judge distance behind me very well. When there's cars behind me, like when we were leading a few weeks ago, I thought they were right off my bumper when they were like 3 to 5 car lengths behind me, and I actually had a decent gap. So that's why I bought the better mirror, is that I want to be able to see behind me better. I also bought spider gears because I figured out that these are the cause of failure in these 10-bolt rears more than anything else. Now, what happens is these spider gears will rub on the cross pin, get hot, and you can see they're starting to heat check and chip. Now, when they do that, they get hot over time. That wears the bearing race out, which is, it's technically a bearing. It's an oil bearing, essentially. And it will seize or break from the hot-cold cycles. And then the teeth of those go through the teeth of this and destroy everything. So, a good maintenance item is go on eBay, spend $100. Of course, I didn't go on eBay. You can tell where I got mine from. And get yourself a set. This comes with the cross pin, comes with the side gears, comes with the spider gears, comes with all the little shims and bearings, even comes with a new cross pin. So that's cool. I got a new set for this one, and I don't know the quality of the ones in there, but I have another set coming for that. So I'm going to pop the cover off next week, chuck a set in there just to be safe. This, if you have open rears, like we have to run, we are mandated by rule to run open rears. Even in the Ford 9-inch, that has spider gears in it. We have to run these. Buy a new set. Just do it. Even at the beginning of the year, make it a disposable or a sacrificial item or whatever you want to call them. Just buy them. And since my back's been bothering me for a few days, I might call my brother up tomorrow to help me load this spare rear into the truck if I have oil. I don't even know if I have gear oil for this poor thing. I do! Alright, cool. So I will be loading that up with gear oil and putting it in the truck so that if, in case we need it, all we'll really have to do is swap the brake, I don't know, brackets over and chuck it in the car. Not a huge deal. But since I've hurt my back and I've been sore for like a week, of course it happened, you know, right at my birthday. So as I turn even further into the 40s, it's like, oh, excessive back pain. All right, I'm going to get to work. I want to get this done, and I want to get this car finished ASAP because I don't want to spend all day, every day working on cars. That's how you burn out. That's how you get tired of doing this. So let's get back to work. Well, thanks to Denko brake parts cleaner that you can get off Amazon, I now have a dead wasp in my fan. And I don't really know how to get it out of. Hang on a second. I got the fan going. Maybe I could get him out with. There goes everything. All right, let's see what we can do here with this guy. All right, go out the fan. Yeah, got him out. All right, I can shut the fan off. I think the only thing I got left to do on this rear is maybe throw a couple tack welds in these studs because, let's see. Let's play Russian roulette here. Oh, I know there's one that's a little loose, but apparently they're holding in there pretty good, so I guess I lived through that round. But this is ready to go. It's all oiled up. And like I said, if we have to... Oh, I also have to... Yeah, I gotta rip the welder out because I forgot I have to add spring perches to it. Forgot about that. I went in here and I went to go do the mirror, and after all of that talk I had about how quality matters and stuff, well, I pulled that mirror out and it's warped. So I'm sending it back, and I'm just gonna leave that one in there. I actually went in there and adjusted it a little bit just to get a little bit better clarity out of it, and you know what? Hell with it, we're just going to leave it. I'll just run with it. I believe I was talking to you guys about rear axles when I was building these spare rears. And I said, you know, I got like a $90 Dorman ring and pinion in these because I used to buy the $300 plus Richmond gear sets that are name brand and supposedly good. And they would actually not be so good, and they would wear out or chip or break teeth or whatever. And you'd be out a rear axle, a race, and a gear set that costs a whole lot of money. And if you're going to have that happen, you might as well have it happen with a $90 gear set, or that $90 gear set is just going to work. So that's why I just use that instead. But again, quality is a crapshoot nowadays. And sometimes the things you think are going to be good just kind of aren't. Hopefully they'll take it back instead of me being out of money. So anyway, I'm going to go walk around and look at what's next. Well, I just had her on scales one more time just to make sure that everything was good. I even polished the windshield because it had a little bit of some scratches and it looked like bug guts, or I don't know if it was tree sap or what. Whatever it was is off of there now, so didn't really change much. I know I put that little piece of lead, like 6.7 pounds is really not a hell of a lot. But we're at the point right now where left side weight is so close that I can go from taking 7 pounds, which is essentially what that is, and having it out, being at like 53.90 something. It's like really super close on left side weight. And if I put 7 pounds in it, we're back at 53.77, you know, so it's 7 pounds here or there could make a difference on passing scales in tech, and kind of not. So I'm a little bit more okay with that. You know, I'll take 7 pounds over anything else. I don't think that's really going to dramatically change the handling of the car. I don't really know if I'm going to continue working tonight or not. I do have a couple things that I need to weld up, and I do need to make sure that the front geometry is okay, because the ride height's changed a little bit. Probably throw a gauge on it just to make sure, but I'm probably going to take at least a break, and if I don't come back tonight, I'll see you guys tomorrow for load up day. Okay, it is the next day, and it is load up day. I do not want to spend all day out here because it's already 85 degrees, and we don't have a heck of a lot more to do. When it comes to maintenance on a race car, if you're not, I mean, the only way you can really catch every single thing is to completely tear the race car down in every component. Like, I would have to drop the clutch completely out of it. I'd have to drop the transmission out of it. I'd have to pull it apart piece by piece and find every little piece that could possibly go wrong. And that's just so time consuming that you wouldn't have a life outside of it. If you were a professional, of course, you're going to be doing that anyway, but then you'd have a team of people doing that. So what we're going to do is, since this thing has already been on scales,
And since I've already pretty much looked it over, we're probably only going to just check the front geometry, caster, camber, toe, since I already have the pads out here, and stick it in the trailer. If I have a little extra time, I might finally finish up these rear axles. I forgot to ask somebody for help today to bring it over there, but maybe I'll get somebody. Who knows? But either way, we're going to get this thing done, and I would like to be out of the heat as fast as possible because I just went for a walk in it and didn't realize how warm out it really was until I came in here, and I'm like, wow, it's warm. Tomorrow's even going to be warmer, which really sucks. It's going to be about 90 degrees. And if anybody's ever sat in a race car when it's 90 degrees out, you know it's uncomfortable. So bring a change of clothes and a lot of ice. So, all right, let's get this thing done and out of here. I want to load up early. I don't want to be that guy and never see my family. Box for yet another week. Had the welder out, and I put some perches on this spare rear. Even tacked some of the lug studs that were a little loose. Everything should be good with this thing. I got oil in it, and it doesn't seem to be having any drips on the floor. So if I had a hand to load this thing up, which I'll probably call my brother and ask him to come a little earlier tomorrow and see if he can help me out. But this one's going to have to go in the truck just in case, because you never know when something's going to go wrong. And if something goes wrong, well, you just got to hope that it's early. So, again, this week is going to be just another week where we try to stop bad habits. Because last week we tried to do what we used to do to the car that used to work, but now it doesn't. Because circumstances are just different, you know? Working on cars yourself, you got to try to develop methods of making things straight, making things right. And I was on the right track, but we just weren't getting there fast enough. So I decided to go to Zach and have him once over it because he sees a lot more of these than I do, and he has a lot more experience with people helping. And I just, I learned a lot. And now we're kind of going down a direction where I think we could be just fine. I mean, I'm not really discounting anything at all because all I got to do is learn, and it's up to me to learn and not me to screw it up anymore. I've already figured out that I was screwing it up before, and I really want to get away from that, and I've wanted to get away from that for a long time, and it's really, I'll be honest with you guys, it hurts to know and figure out that you're the problem. You wish there was an excuse, but there ain't. By the way, if my nose starts running at any point, this is the longest it's gone without running for the last, 4 hours. I was out for my walk. I felt really sneezy, and I was like, I'll take some allergy meds when I get home. Took some, and my nose turned into a faucet. It feels like I have a cold. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's hay fever. I don't know. I've never had that before, but now I kind of feel like I'd have it. So I'm going to go inside before I sneeze on camera, and we're ready to go. I just got to drive it, and I got to learn. So we'll figure it out. Trust me. But I'll see you guys tomorrow for race day. Okay, it's a hot one today. Back in Stafford. And gonna be drinking a lot of water. I think I got it wrong last week. I think now it's race 6. Of course, that's an hour and 15 minutes. I gotta go to the bathroom. Perfect. Heat race and practice report. Car's completely different. In a good way. It actually cuts the center, it drives in, and it drives off. Now it's probably up to me. Yeah, can we make it better? Of course. Can I be better? Definitely. So I'm gonna
I think we're starting 7th in the feature. It's probably the first lucky break in starting that we've had in a while to start on the inside, so hopefully we stay there.
Tim, who has Brent Gleason, who finished third.
Yeah, third place finish for Brent Gleason. Brent, this got to feel pretty good. You've got some speed in the car, and you're putting some consistency together week after week. Yeah, I got to thank MLZ Fab and Zach Robinson. I got to get rid of these damn black and green cars in front of me constantly, but it's, you know, we made a lot of changes to the car, and that was all Zach, and I got it across my head that I knew better, and I screwed it all up last week, so he said, please stop changing it, so I did, and look where we are now. So I got to thank him a ton. I got to thank my brother Jesse, Northeast Truck and Off-Road, Casella for putting tonight on, all these lovely fans for coming out, my wife at home, my son, my mom. What do we got for sponsors? Drive Shaft Shop, Sunoco Race Fuels, Universal Drive Shaft, Rad Auto Machine, Napa Auto Parts, Hoosier Tires, and again, everybody for coming out. I really appreciate it. Brent Gleason's putting together a heck of a year so far with some good consistency. That'll do it for your Street Stock feature.
It's a hot one again. Day after the race. Air conditioning is on today for sure. I had to go look for a phantom leak because if you noticed after the race was over, smoke filled the cockpit. I was like, what in the heck is this? And I'm like, well, I'm glad it waited until the race was over. But I think we already figured it out. That new power steering reservoir that I put in seems to have maybe expelled a little bit of fluid. I think it's either one of two things, and I guarantee both of those things are true. First one being it's too full. There's a baffle in here that I should lower the fluid level down to, and hopefully that should help. And two, I don't think it was sealed up enough because it felt like the little rubber O-ring that's up in the cap, like I had to tighten it and loosen it and tighten it and loosen it a few times, but now when I tighten it, it actually tightens all the way down and I can feel it seal. So I don't think it was even tight all the way. So either way, we'll get that figured out at some point. But I was just sitting here, just kind of pounding out the odd dent or two. That came out already. That came out already. It's funny, since I put these door bars on the car, the only body work I've had to do are on every corner. Not anywhere else, just the corners. But I genuinely think that we are headed in the right direction and that whatever I learned in the past was likely a band-aid to fix a bad car, you know? Bad parts equal a bad car. And the fact that I wasn't looking at it properly and measuring it and making sure that I was putting good stuff into my car is my fault, clearly. So we're going to have to just change our mindset. We still know how to set a race car up in some way, or at least fix some of the handling when it goes wrong. So we have to just kind of go in the more traditional directions that we know from book learning and not from actual like track experience. So we'll have to just transition our knowledge a little bit because whatever I did yesterday was all traditional knowledge and it all just kind of worked. So it's fine now. And now we just got to start working at making it a little bit better and a little bit better and just refining it. And I'm glad to know that this works because now I'm able to buy in 100%. It sucks that I'm a learn by doing kind of guy, and if I screw something up by trying to learn, I screw something up, but at least I know it's me and I can admit that. So we had rear ends teched yesterday, which is actually pretty good considering what I have to do to the car. Now you'll remember that I put new spider gears in this rear and I showed you how torn up they were. Well, I bought a second set because I just wanted to make sure the cover's already off, the oil's already out. You know, we gently pushed the car back into the trailer when we were done. Since the cover is pretty much off and everything's out, I can also put my magnet back in because I forgot to do that twice, by the way. I forgot to do it to that rear as well when I sealed it up. Dang it. But we'll get that thing pulled apart. I'm going to put some fresh spider gears in it. I went and got some new oil, even though what kind of sucks is that oil is like 2 races old. Oh well, it is what it is. But I'm going to probably do that tonight, get that thing squared away,
and the maintenance program should be in full effect. But what I can take away from this week is progress, if you can really believe that. I mean, yeah, it was physical progress with the car handling a lot better and doing more than I asked of it. So we have that progress, but we also have the statistical progress. Now, last year, I think we ran about 17 or 18 races, give or take. Yeah, we had 2 wins, but we had only 3 podiums. That was it the entire year. I only had 3 podiums. I won the 2 races, and I got a 3rd in the extra distance race. That was in July, and that was it. So we're 6 races in, and half of those races I've already sat on the podium. So that's progress in itself. So this upcoming week, we're going to do a little extra maintenance to the car. Greasing wheel bearings. I haven't been in there in a while. I want to make sure they're good. I'm going to finish that spider gear swap over. I'll probably do that off camera, whatever. And we'll grease the uppers because those pivot points are closer to the headers, and the headers get really hot and they can bake the grease out. And I've seen uppers, especially aftermarket steel uppers, seize up because they get hot and the grease bakes out of them. I usually grease those every week. I don't think I've greased them in a while. So there's your look, at least a look ahead of what we're going to be doing. But that's going to do it for this week because I got to get this thing edited. And I want to throw those spider gears in and get that thing sealed up before I forget, because that's a really important thing. And this video is already long enough. So if you guys have not subscribed yet, please consider doing so. This is really my lifeline to the outside world of trying to get people into racing, or at least understand that they can do this on their own if they really work hard enough. And trust me, yeah, it's hard. It's really hard. Oh, man. So that's one way you can support the channel, is just by subscribing. Another way is to go to GleasonBrosRacing.com, get your team merch, get channel merch. We have stickers if you can't really afford a t-shirt. We have hats, we have koozies, we have tumblers, we've got all sorts of stuff. And go check it out there, GleasonBrosRacing.com. Click on the merch store tab if you don't know where it is. Just kind of, you'll have to surf around just for a second, but it's okay. Anyway, guys, I greatly appreciate every single one of you, especially those of you who come to the track and cheer, and who come and talk to me, and who give me money and donations, and every little bit helps. And God, I don't ask for it. I don't ask for it. If you do it out of the goodness of your heart, that means more to me than anything else in the world, but you don't have to. I just appreciate you being there for me. Thank you guys so very much. I greatly appreciate it. I'll see you next week.